All right, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Growth by Shawn podcast. Kelsey, how are you today?
I'm doing amazing. How are you?
All right, so far so good. So, Kelsey, a little bit just like what we have chatted about so far, just back and forth in the DMs, getting to know you. Um, Looking through your content was interesting. Watching that call that you sent me was also interesting. So, tell me a little bit about what you got going on right now, and then we'll get into a little bit about like more of the vision and the future, and I think we'll be able to have like a great segue into that.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm from a small town in Minnesota. I think we talked about that in the messages we were sending, and I kind of had the, I guess, traditional upbringing. I played sports in high school, graduated college, got the piece of paper, all that good stuff, and started working in healthcare. I worked in healthcare for about 6 years, and I really enjoyed what I was doing, but um, the aspect of getting to help people and all of those types of things. But I realized, at one point, and we can get into kind of the details if you want, but that kind of a 9 to 5 setting is not really what I wanted to have for the rest of my life. That's what my parents did. They love it. They're great at it. I'm the type of person that, I kind of want to do what I want to do with my time, and realizing having that 9 to 5 was not going to allow me to do that. And so, currently, what I'm doing and what I've been doing for the past 3 to 4 years now, I'm in the day trading space. So, the crypto markets, Forex markets, those types of things. And then also network marketing. And then currently, soon to launch my own podcast as well. I know I sent you that video that I had done in the past, and it's just something that I enjoy doing, is kind of diving into things that I've learned along my journey. When I got into the entrepreneurship space is really when I started to also work on the personal development and everything, and just seeing the growth and the change that that's allowed me in my personal life is just something that I want to share, with other people too. And by no means am I perfect or where I want to be yet, but yeah, it's something that I'm looking forward to doing as well.
Okay. So, what I'm hearing thus far, 9 to 5, not for you, totally cool. I think many people are in that mindset, right? And you want to have control over your time and your freedom and what you do. And so, when you look at crypto, Forex, the stock market, um, network marketing, are those all things that you want to do?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, really,
Okay.
at the end of the day, like, time freedom is the
Yep.
goal, to be able
Okay.
to live life. And those are just means of, being able to allow me to do that.
Okay, so what I'm trying to pull at here, because I think there's a little thread, is are those the vehicles that you want to use in order to get you to where you want to be?
Yes, as well as, yeah, the podcast, my own personal brand, which I've been working on with Lissa as
Okay.
well, which is, yeah, focused around that personal development aspect as well.
Okay, so why do you want to build a personal brand?
I mean, as I mentioned, in the beginning too, just to share what I've learned with people that are
Okay.
also looking for that. I was once that person too that knew I wanted to better myself, and I had no idea how to do that until I got a hold of, information from the right people who had already, gone through that, learned from that, and then were able to kind of spill over their tips and tricks that, I was able to implement in my day-to-day life that have, gotten me to where I am and continue to push through every day.
Okay, so when you look at all of these aspects of personal development and building your own brand, what's the most important thing that you've learned thus far?
The most important thing is really awareness, whether that's, a generic of how you perceive the world around you, but also, in my opinion, the first step is self-awareness and really going back, which is why a lot of people, I believe, get uncomfortable and maybe don't continue on the journey of personal development. Or I've also seen people skip this part and then not really get the results that they were looking for, but looking inward, kind of figuring out who you are as a person, what you want, maybe things that we've held on to in the past that don't no longer serve us now, but we have to go through that work of kind of peeling back the onion, so to speak, of kind of digging into why we are the way we are now and how we can change that or implement new things, discard old habits, bad habits, whatever, um, to grow along the personal development journey.
Yeah. So when I look at self-awareness, it's to me now self-awareness is just like this universal, just thrown out term of, okay, well, I want to feel better. I want to look better. I want to do all of these things. Well, I don't do all of these things, so I'm aware that I'm not doing it. But then there's that next step of like actually making a change, right?
Mhm.
And so, okay, cool. I ate an entire pizza last night. I'm aware that I ate the pizza, but like I'm still not changing my actions, right? And I think that's
Yeah.
just the disconnect. So we can be self-aware all we want, and it's the first step. I just don't necessarily know if it's the most important step
Mhm.
um from where I'm at because so many people are just stuck because they're not taking the actions that they want to take. And
Yeah.
so for you, did you ever have that stuckness, quote unquote, where you were aware of all of these things happening, you were aware of all the coping mechanisms, you were aware of all the bad habits, but you still weren't implementing any of the new habits or doing the things that you actually wanted and said you were going to do?
Yeah, I definitely had the stuck phase. And for me personally, that was just me being okay, staying in my own comfort zone. Because as you mentioned, yeah, we can be aware of the bad diet. We can be aware of the going out, the not exercise, whatever the case is. We can be aware of those things, and also know what we can replace that with to feel better, look better, think better. But for me, it was that comfort zone of, yeah, like cooking healthy meals takes time and I don't really want to do that. So pizza it is. And but going to the gym, that's an hour that I could be doing something else. And I have to drive to the gym. I don't know if I want to do that, but it's for me, it was finally stepping out of that comfort zone. And one of my mentors, Taylor Morgan, which you might know of through Lissa, but he said something to me. I think back at the excursion we went to in September of last year, and we were just going through some story work prompts and things. And, he said, once you are aware of a bad habit that you have, because habits are things that we do subconsciously, we're unaware of them. But once you become aware of them and you continue to do them, then it's just a bad choice because you're choosing to do it. And he said that to me. And like I said, I've been going through this personal development journey for a couple years now, but even that, even I don't know, what is that, 6 months ago or so now, really hit me. And it's like, okay, like if I'm going to choose to watch Netflix instead of read a personal development book, I'm choosing that. And now where I'm at in that point is it doesn't feel good, like
Hmm.
we've told him before too, like he's kind of our little voice in the back of our head, like, okay, well, you're choosing that. And so, yes, I've definitely had that stuck moment. And for me personally, it just felt like literally like physically uncomfortable
Hmm.
when, I had become aware of the things that I could be doing to elevate myself, and I was choosing not to do them. So, um, yeah, it really comes down to as well, like stepping out of the comfort zone and giving it a shot.
Yeah. I think most people are stuck in like the fear of the other side, whether it's the fear of like letting go of their different attachments that they have to the comfort that
Mhm.
they have now.
Yep.
Um, Most people are stuck in this um, familiar hell versus the unfamiliar perceived heaven that they could
Yeah.
have. And so, are you mentoring people right now through these different mindset shifts and all of the personal development work that you do now? Or are you primarily mentoring people more on like the crypto and investing side?
A little bit of both. So mostly the entrepreneurship, investing side of things right now. I'm a part of a couple different communities, and so through those, I've been doing, some mindset calls type of things like this. And then once I get my own podcast launched and personal brand launched as well, is when I'll be doing more, I guess, personal one-on-one and group setting, more mindset
Mhm.
coaching.
What have
Mhm.
you found with working through, you've mentioned mentors a couple of times. What have you found beneficial on the mindset side or on the crypto investing side in terms of being in a community? And what has been the most beneficial part of the process of being a part of these groups here?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, short answer is I believe mentors are cheat codes to whatever it is you're trying to do.
Mhm.
And with anything, whether it's fitness, mindset, personal development, investing, a lot of people can get into, we call it YouTube University, where I can just get all this information for free. I don't need to pay somebody to be my mentor or pay to be a part of a community. But really, I believe paying for communities such as, I mentioned I'm part of Taylor's collective, Captain's Crew. That is really mindset, holistic living focused. And then the community that I'm part of on the network marketing trading side of things as well. These are all people who have they've done the trial and error. They've gone through the ups and the downs. They've figured out what works, what doesn't work. And now, and really speaking on the trading and investing side, now it's just plug in, ask questions, and take action. And with people too that want to get into that space as well, I was there when I first got started. It looks like scribbles on a piece of paper. I have no idea what the heck I'm looking at. But being a part of a community, number one, you have access to tools and resources that you don't have access to through, for say, YouTube videos that they could be teaching the same thing, but access to tools and resources, access to professionals that have done this for, 5, 10 plus years who are in person teaching you how to do the same exact thing that they've learned how to do and become successful at. And then plus just being, and this goes for both, communities that I'm a part of, just being surrounded by like-minded people who have, the same or similar vision, but, are all looking to elevate themselves in one way or another. And yeah, the mentors that I have been the utmost of, help when it comes to, I mean, we can go back to those stuck moments that we were talking about, that when I first started this journey, I kind of tripped and fell through them on my own, but having access to people that have gone through similar things or maybe can also get you connected to somebody is just something that's helped me really excel my journey and, maybe skip those road bumps and things along the way.
Mm. So when you're these mentors that you have on the investing side, how
Mhm.
much of it is teaching you how to fish versus just giving you the fish? Hey, this is the play this week. This is the play today. This is the time to sell. This is the time to buy.
Yeah, there's a little bit of both, but it really does focus on teaching the skill set because at the end of the day, I mean, it goes for any business. Like, there's no guarantee that any business could be here in the next 10 years. And so, yeah, the community that I'm a part of, the platform that we use is really, really strong on actually learning the skill set because, and I tell this to people all the time, once you learn it, it's something that can never be taken away from you. The markets, there's currencies, there's forms of payment going around all the time, all around the world, trillions of dollars being pushed in and out every single day. That's more than the NFL, the movie industry, like combined. And once you have that skill set, I mean, it's what the banks are using with our money. When I found that out, like, oh, so if I have 5K in my savings account, I can't go ask for that because it's not there because they're trading with our money. And so learning that skill set and then having that for the rest of your life, things that you can then pass down to your kids, your grandkids. Like I said, it's never going away. So yeah, we really focus on learning the skill set for yourself. So you don't have to rely on people. There are, on the other side too, like, hey, here's a play, take it if you want it, take it or leave it, but really push in like, hey, it's solid for each person to learn it on their own. Like it's not forced or anything, but
Yeah.
it's there.
So when you talk about the skill set of investing, can you share a little bit of the fundamentals of what the skill set really entails?
Yeah. So it's a little bit different with what you choose to trade. There's obviously the crypto market, which a lot of people are familiar with. There's the Forex market, which is currency versus currency. So, like the US dollar versus the Japanese yen, and that exchange rate between them, stocks, futures, all of that good stuff. But really, basically, you're just learning how to analyze the markets. You learn patterns that the candles, which is, a specific set of time per candle, different patterns that they form throughout the day, which then help us predict where the market could move next. And then all it simply is just predicting the correct if it's going up or down. And that's another cool thing about trading as well. And trading and investing are different. Like investing is, Bitcoin, you go on your Cash App or Coinbase and put $100 on Bitcoin and forget about it. Trading, you're actually able to actively trade every single day. Like the markets are open. I think it's 4:30 now that we're doing this. Markets are open 4 p.m. Central Time on Sunday to 4 p.m. Central Time on Friday. So you can trade anytime there actively and not have to wait for a positive return. Because that's something that a lot of people don't know is when you're actively trading, you can make money whether the market's going up or down. So, like, I don't know, I saw some on Instagram the other day that, billions or trillions of dollars were lost out of the stock market this past week. Like, we could still make money from that. And a lot of people did just from learning the skill set, being a part of the community.
Yeah. So when you're looking at investing, when you're looking at trading, do you have really emotional highs and really emotional lows when you're going through this process? Or have you been able to get to a place where it's more regulating yourself?
A little bit of both. Definitely when you are first starting out trading, that's a big obstacle that I feel like everybody has to overcome is having emotions involved. We really focus on what's called risk management. So you only, risk what you're willing to lose. And yeah, the emotions can play a big part in it and really screw some stuff up, which I've experienced in the past as well. You lose a couple trades and oh, I'm bound to win the next one. I'm saying this because this is exactly what I've thought before
Hmm.
too. Like, okay, well, I've lost two. I can't lose three in a row. Let's just go in for another one. Well, crap. Now I've lost even more money, And so starting out, emotions are something to work through, definitely doable. And I think that also goes along with really learning the skill set as well, because we have some educators that are amazing at even talking about the trading psychology and really how it breaks down, how, as I mentioned, like risk management is key, making sure that you're not over leveraging, which is, risking too much where you could lose half of your account in, a single trade and then you're really not having a great day. And really just stacking, small wins and not comparing yourself to other people as well, because I've seen it in the community that I'm a part of that, there's people trading on bigger account sizes than others. And that, well, I just profited, 2K on this trade, for example. And somebody else is like, okay, well, I only profited like $50, but like learning like, hey, wins are wins and take them, like this person, we have no idea if this person's been trading for 15 years and you just started 2 months ago. If you started 2 months ago and you're making $50, like that's something to celebrate in and of itself.
Yeah. Now, how did you figure out who what group and what mentor, what community to be a part of, because I find, especially with like Forex and crypto, and everyone is a millionaire and all of these different aspects. Um, so how did you figure out who to you were drawn to and that it wasn't necessarily just a scam?
Yeah, no, I've honestly been a part of a couple different trading companies or platforms.
Hmm.
And when I start in a company, I really start with, the founder. Like, who is that person? Like,
Hmm.
where did they start? How did they get into this? And then obviously, what are they bringing to the table? How simple is the system to utilize for the brand new person? And then also finding the right community as well. I'm so lucky and blessed that the people that I got started with, like I said, a few years ago, are the same people that, I'm still working with today. And it really comes down to, for me, like a personal vibe. Some people don't really look at this. For me, it's is there a family energy? Is there a family vibe that is a part of this as well? Like, yeah, we're all here to learn and make money together and all this stuff. It's great, but um really, yeah, it comes down to the family feel for me with the personal mentors that I'm working with, but also the company as a whole. The platform that I'm a part of now has it, that from the people that I'm directly working with all the way up, to the owners, Josh and Jenna. It's, I've never seen a platform personally that you can contact the owners directly and he texts you back in 5, 10 minutes. I've gotten the feeling other places that you're too far away for me to reach, and
Hmm.
um, that's something that, I even tell other people that if they don't want to be a part of the same platform that I'm a part of, that's totally cool. Just make sure that where you're going feels good to you. Because a lot of platforms, a lot of companies really build off of hype and they just get people really excited, really excited. And then you start and it's not what you thought it was going to be. Not saying it's a bad company, it's a bad platform or, bad ownership, whatever. It just doesn't feel right. And so that's why I really just lead with, the facts of what we offer and build relationships with people is super important. Um, I've seen many people, they're just like, hey, I got started with this, and then I've never heard from the person I got started with ever again. And so
Hmm.
building relationships is super important for me as well. And yeah, when it comes to it being a scam, that's where just getting all the information you can comes in, and
Yeah.
not just going in head first and hoping you're in the deep end and not in the shallow end and screwing yourself over.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's even still people that think what like trading is a scam and network marketing is a scam,
Hmm.
and that's okay. Um, it's new information for a lot of people. It's not stuff that we're normally or taught at all in
Hmm.
school. We're not, we're taught how to do our taxes and be an accountant if you want to. That's about the extent of money that we learn in school.
Hmm.
And so I don't really hold it against people if they're like, oh, what you do is a scam, whatever. Like, you do you, that's totally fine. I
Yeah.
kind of look at it as any person that I talk to is just like planting a seed, like if it's
Yeah.
not for you right now, cool, but maybe 6 months down the line when you have a really bad day at work and you don't want to work your job anymore, you might remember, the conversation that we had and want more information on it at that time.
Yeah. So I'm glad you brought up like the vibe, the energy, right? And so, for example, when I was going through your social media platforms, what vibe and energy and feel do you think it gives off to a stranger like myself?
My like Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would hope it would give off community,
Okay.
good vibes, warm vibes,
Hmm.
stuff like that, but also a little bit of a kick in the butt sometimes too.
Okay. Because when I was going through it, that's more how I felt. I felt that it was more of a kick in the butt, more motivating. It didn't
Mm,
have that family feel to it.
sure.
So, do you think that when you're building your personal brands now, how do you want that to come across? Like, how are you going to build that in order to give it that family and community feel to it?
Yeah, that's a great question. Definitely, because that is something that is like super important to me because it's something that has helped myself is kind
Hmm.
of like, hey, like, you know what you can be doing, like, here you go, like, let's keep it moving.
Yeah.
And that's something that I definitely am going to be keeping in, my personal brand as well, but also like, hey, you're also having a tough time, something's going on. Like,
Hmm.
this is also like a safe space to talk to people, whether it's myself or other people that will be a part of the community as well. Because, I have some people like that in my life that I maybe didn't even know a year ago. But now, they're people that just from their energy, you know, let me know like, hey, this is a safe space to talk about, anything that I may be going through. Because I think that's kind of missed a lot of times is here's here's some work you can be doing. Here's when we'll talk about it next time and
Hmm.
see you then, have at it. But also like people are human, we don't all have 100% days. We're not all the way, juiced up on our batteries every day, like, and it's okay. And so having that balance of giving that motivation and that push when needed, but also working through, the day-to-day things that people go through anyway.
Okay. Now, when I hear this, how do you create a safe space?
Just by having, those real and honest conversations, even about things that I've gone through in the
Okay.
past and, how even communities have helped me, my mentors, or even just my friends too. There's some people that I've known for a good chunk of my life that aren't a part of any community that I'm a part of. But even just being like, hey, even if you want to be a part of my community, you want to work on your own personal development and growth in yourself, like it can also be just it doesn't always have to be work or business, it's just
Mhm.
like I said, a safe friendship space as well.
Yeah. So the call that you had sent me, it talked a lot about the mundane habits and
Mm-hmm.
just continuing to do those and do those and do those, right? And so, do you love a lot of the mundane habits that push the needle?
Not all the time, no.
Okay. So, to go
Uh,
back to the beginning of our conversation where we talked about you want to love what you do, right? You want to have the freedom to do what you do. And so how do you differentiate between these are things that are making me uncomfortable and I need to make sure I do these even though I don't love these? How do you find kind of that balance of picking and choosing? Does that make sense?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that kind of goes back to what I first was talking about as well, of kind of figuring out who you are and what you want to do, what you want to be, who you want to be,
Hmm.
and figuring out what actionable steps are going to help you get there.
Hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I mean, there's most days I love going to the gym and I
Yeah.
love, doing the things that I have to do. Then there's some days that, bro, my bed feels great. Like I don't want to go to the gym, especially, here in Minnesota when it gets to 10 degrees outside. Like,
Hmm.
but that's kind of where discipline for me comes in. And that's been a big thing that I've worked on through my journey. I fluctuated so much for a good period of time of stepping out of my comfort zone for a period of time and feeling great and then falling back into the comfort zone and stepping away from those things that I've decided and even some of them I've talked with mentors about of hey, what can I be doing to help get to the next step.
Mhm.
And I would fall back and, stop doing that for a little bit, but then we'd get going again. And so discipline, like self-discipline has really been a big point for me. So even on the days that I don't love doing those mundane things, it still gets done because of, the vision I have for myself, for what I want to do, for the impact I want to make on other people. Like these are the necessary things that have to be done.
Mm. Discipline is an interesting topic to me.
Mhm.
When I look at discipline, it comes from a place of I used to think that you just need to be more disciplined. You just need to have more willpower.
Mhm.
I'm switching my views on that throughout the last year or two, especially. So I'm curious from your standpoint, someone that is not disciplined, do they really love themselves? Do you think?
I think they do. Yeah, I
Okay.
don't think discipline is really something that's like a factor, like the one set in stone factor of,
Yeah.
if somebody loves themselves enough to grow. For me, I just think it's a big tool because I
Okay.
know, and I think that's something that people just have to look at themselves individually and say, like, hey, discipline for me, for example, is needed because if I don't have discipline and
Mhm.
even do the things on the hard days, I know that I will fall back into the comfort zone, stop making progress on the things that I want to move forward in and things like that.
Yeah, I don't think that people that don't have discipline actually love themselves. I I disagree strongly because what I think discipline really is you honoring yourself.
Hmm.
And so this is what I said I was going to do. I do this because I know it makes me better. And so I love myself enough to go and do it versus all of these self-sabotaging type behaviors, overeating, drinking alcohol, depending on your relationship with the two, but those are two easy ones. And someone that does those things and constantly says, I just need more discipline, I just need more willpower. I don't think at the end of the day is actually coming from a place of love. I think they're just coming from a place of, I despise myself so much, or that's a little intense.
Hmm.
Okay. Perhaps it's not, I despise myself so much, but at the end of the day, when they look really internally, they don't actually have a lot of self-love for themselves, or they would do the habits and behaviors that in turn feel like discipline.
Yeah, I think that really comes back to the decision too, or like the choice.
Mm,
Like me, I made the decision that these are the things I want to do, like you were mentioning. And
hmm
so, yeah, these are the things that I'm going to do to make those things happen. And then those that are okay with not being disciplined, you also have to be okay with that choice and
Yeah.
the results. Or, I mean, you're going to get results either way, just maybe not the ones that you want, and
Yeah.
you have to be okay with that if you're choosing not to be disciplined. And it's something I think maybe it maybe can take a little bit of time
hmm
to, develop for it to become like a second nature thing. Because for me, it was a lot of conscious thinking when I first started working on discipline of like, okay, I had my schedule written out every single day with times. And
hmm
some people think I'm weird. If you look at my calendar on my phone, they're like, you have everything, like from when I wake up to when I take my dog out to when I'm like brushing my teeth, like it's in my calendar because that's what helps me. Like having
hmm
that, I had to have that conscious thought for a little while there until it became just the routine of we just go get things done.
Yeah, I think, structure is what creates the freedom that you're looking for,
Yeah.
where if you're just given the freedom, you'll never have any structure. And so you
Yep.
won't really have the freedom that you're looking for in that aspect. That's
100.
something that I really found, especially like working in a lot of restaurants and things, when we were able to do whatever we wanted, things would get done, but we also partied a lot at the same time, whether that's during
Mhm.
or after work.
Right.
Versus you have structure, you have boundaries, all of a sudden. you have the freedom, like you're going there to make money. When you have
Hmm.
structure, when you have systems in place, you're able to make a lot of money versus you
Yeah.
have no structure, then you just have all this freedom and you're like, yeah, I'll just do whatever today. Like I don't
Hmm.
really care about making the money.
Yeah.
So when you look at money, how do you view money now? Because that's what you do, right?
Hmm.
Is you do money. So
Yeah.
how do you view it?
I view it as a tool, really.
Hmm.
And that was something that I had to change my perspective on before. You know, my parents were always like, work and save some money and so
Hmm.
you can do what you need to do, which is true. Yes,
Hmm.
like take care of the things you need to take care of. But for me, that kind of created a fear or a control aspect of like, if
Hmm.
I don't have money, I'm screwed and whatever, where now I just look at money as the tool, as
Hmm.
tool to fund different projects, tools to, eventually full time, live the life that I want to, be able to call my friends on a Wednesday and be like, hey, let's go on a trip somewhere. Like,
Hmm.
um, yeah, because I was kind of stuck in that fear of money
Hmm.
mindset where if I didn't have money, it was instant like anxiety and oh no. And now, just looking at different opportunities too, of like there's so many ways to make money
Hmm.
outside of, your 9 to 5 job. So like if there's ever a time where you don't have money, it's cool. Go make some money. There's DoorDash, selling your old things, learning skill sets like in like trading,
Hmm.
whatever the case may be. So yeah, changing that perspective has helped a lot and really calmed my senses when it comes to what I'm doing because
Hmm.
it's not really a do or die situation at the end of the day. Like, yes, we need to make money. We're going to make money and it's great, but it's all good,
Yeah.
throughout the process.
See, I don't know. There's a part of me that still says we don't need to make money.
Mhm.
It's still that we're choosing to make money. We want money. I want money.
Yeah.
I deserve to have money.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
I said,
And
bro, like if
so,
I could pitch a tent on a beach and live off of coconut trees, like cool. No money needed.
you,
Like great.
yeah, you could go and be homeless and you don't need any money,
Hmm.
right? Or you could go and live in, there's all these different like farming type things where
Yeah.
you can go and live on someone's farm and they house you and feed you and you just work for them,
Work for them. Yeah.
and that's it. And you don't make any money, but like whatever, you're fed, you have your needs met.
Hmm.
And so where do you think this fear of money, because that's what many people have,
Hmm.
right, is a fear of making money, or they don't know how to do it, or they always need more, all of these different aspects. Where do you think that all kind of not necessarily stemmed from, but why do we still have that in our collective consciousness today?
Yeah. I think it kind of comes from previous generations. Some of our grandparents went through the Depression. Parents were obviously raised with that type of mentality of save every single penny you have because it could be all gone and you can't make any more. And I mean, truthfully now I think people just are unaware of literally so many different ways that we can make money. Literally from the thing we hold in our hands and our pockets every single day. A lot
Hmm.
of people think, it's still go to college, graduate, hopefully get a good job, but still you're working for somebody else for however many 40, 50 years of your life and being dependent on somebody else. And I think that's where the fear is still kind of in the collective thought now
Hmm.
because 9 to 5 jobs are not guaranteed, really. I mean,
Hmm.
there's so many people that have lost jobs. I know people personally who have lost jobs because, technology is here. People don't want to, they'd rather pay for a machine that'll work for 20 years before maintenance than paying these people X amount of dollars every single year.
Hmm.
And so I think there's just that sense of uncertainty when it comes to stability around money that people are really starting to become more aware of different ways to make money. I mean, we have people on TikTok that are 15 years old making millions of dollars doing close to nothing, you know?
Yeah.
And um, yeah, I think it's just kind of a passed down thought pattern that I believe now is slowly starting to change.
Hmm. So as we start to close up here, one of my last questions here is going to be someone that wants to start investing, someone that wants to start trading, perhaps, or even just someone that wants to make more money, right?
Mhm.
Or someone that wants to improve their relationship with money. What would your advice be to them and where to start?
Really just having an open mind. And I mean, if it gets down to the, trading space, wanting to make active, a couple of additional streams of income, I
Mhm.
mean, reaching out to people that are already in the space. Obviously, as I mentioned before, doing your due diligence of essentially background checking people, making sure they're real people, because there are many out here that aren't literally real people,
Hmm.
but just asking questions. There's nobody that I've met who's a genuine person that won't tell you about what they know or how they've learned and things like that. And really just making the investment into yourself. I've learned that the more books I've read, the more I've invested into the platform that I'm in, the further I've come. Like when I first started, I was at level zero, ground zero, no idea. But having that open mind and being willing to learn, ask questions, there's no stupid questions except the ones you don't ask. And then you end up looking stupid later on. And just really being coachable and teachable, being a sponge, whether it's joining a community or whichever way you want to go about it. And yeah, just going for it. I think that's where a lot of people get stuck is, and I'm guilty of it too. When the person who first showed me the, industry of trading, I said no like 6 times before I finally said yes. And so just going for it, giving it a shot. It's not, you're not signing your life away. And if they're asking you to, that is a scam. I should have said that earlier too.
Yep. Yep.
Um, but yeah, literally just taking the first step, going for it. If it's something that you find isn't for you, that you don't enjoy, that's cool. But at least you dipped your toes in and got a little bit of information to know. But then on the flip side, this could be the route that allows you to create additional income. You could do it full time if you want to, or some people truly enjoy their jobs. And so then you can continue to do it, but do it because you love it, not because you have to be there to pay the bills.
Yeah. No, I think that's great advice no matter where someone's at and what
Hmm.
their journey looks like. And so, especially just taking that next step, you never know what the next conversation could entail. You
Yeah.
never know the person that you could meet, what could happen. You never know leaving your job, how you may land on your feet. Even
Hmm.
if you scrape by for a little while, you never know the next opportunity that you'll have. And so really just taking that next step, surrounding yourself with the right people, I think is really beneficial for anyone that may have taken something away from our conversation today. So Kelsey, thank you for being here. If you could just share a little bit about where we can find and connect with you. And I'll be excited to hear once the podcast and the brand launches even more and where you end up.
Perfect. Yeah, I appreciate you having me on here. My Instagram is at Kelsey Saugstad, KelseySaugstad. Also on Facebook, TikTok, KSaug13, and yeah, soon to be podcast. So stay tuned with the Instagram for that. But yeah, I appreciate you having me on here and love the conversation.
Awesome. Sweet. Thanks, guys.